House rules. Each speaker has 5 minutes. The first and last minutes are protected. The judge will ring a bell to signal the protected time. The bell will ring continuously after 5 minutes.
This house believes that economic resourcefulness should be the standard for the creation of cities. In tonight's debate, I'll begin with a definition. Economic resourcefulness, efficient use and management of resources to maximize economic benefit. Standards for creation of cities, the primary guiding principle in city planning and development. In tonight's debate, we want to understand what depicts economic resourcefulness, of which we acknowledge in tonight's debate that what depicts economic resourcefulness is 1, innovation and technology, 2, entrepreneurship, 3, agriculture. And then also, tonight's debate further, we want to understand the cities that are using economic resourcefulness at the moment. We acknowledge that from a statistics for the financial year 2023-2024, 25th July 2023, according to the Daily Monitor, KCCA has made a commitment to control waste management. Of which panel, in tonight's debate, we acknowledge in tonight's debate that Kampala City has made a commitment already to control waste management. Of which controlling waste management, the fact that Kampala City, the fact that KCCA is controlling waste management right now doesn't mean that they use economic resourcefulness while selecting their standard for the city creation. That is why, as team affirmative of tonight's debate, we tell team negative of tonight's debate that we want to first start by making sure that economic resourcefulness is made a standard for the creation of cities. And then also, our status quo for tonight's debate stands as, according to report from the Daily Monitor on the 7th July 2023, it shows that Uganda's GDP growth rate was approximately 5.6 in 2022. And then also, furthermore in tonight's debate, our case stands as sustainable urban growth, poverty reduction. Allow me explain my point of sustainable urban growth. As for a municipality, because we acknowledge that it is a municipality that can change into a city or can be created into a city, of which we acknowledge that for a particular municipality to qualify for the city, we in tonight's debate as team affirmative, we acknowledge that it should first have good agriculture. In what way? If there is good agriculture, we acknowledge that in turn it will bring what is called self-employment. Because also we acknowledge that from a statistics of Ultimate Wilders. From a statistic from ultimatewildsafaris.com states that Kampala City has got over 4 million slums dwellers living in Kampala district, representing about 60% of the city's population. We acknowledge that living in slums, if 4 million slums are there, we acknowledge that living in slums is already poverty. Living in slums, we acknowledge that living as team negative, we acknowledge that living in slums is already poverty, because according to the World Bank on the 7th June 2023, about 21.4% of Uganda's population live below the poverty line. We acknowledge that when a particular municipality invests in economic resourcefulness as per the standard for the creation of cities, we acknowledge that it will bring economic development. It will bring self-employment. Of which, if self-employment is there, we shall be able to drive away from poverty, which is stated in tonight's debate. We also acknowledge that for a particular municipality to qualify for the creation, it should have good innovation. Apparently, Uganda has worked upon improving Kira Motors. We acknowledge that Uganda right now is manufacturing electric cars from Kira Motors, and that is one of the innovations that is being brought out. I beg to rest my case.
Panel, House at large. This House believes that economic resourcefulness should be the standard for creation for cities. Tonight, we are tasked with bringing out what should be the standard for creation of cities. Economic resourcefulness refers to the ability to effectively and efficiently use available resources to achieve desired economic outcomes. That is according to Springer.com. And what do we mean by standard? Standard is something established by authority, custom, or general consent as a model, something that is supposed to be followed. And then a city, what is a city? So a city is an inhabited place of greater size, population or importance than a town or a village. So this is what we should put in our minds as we are arguing out this point. And then we are saying that creation of cities refers to establishing urban areas. So, panel, ladies and gentlemen, what are the classification of an area as a city? What makes an area to be seen as a city? We see the National Urban Policy classifies a city if an area it has a population of at least 300,000 residents within a means of 50 square meters and a maximum population density of 20,000 persons per kilometer square. Another thing that qualifies a place to be a city is the ability to effectively and efficiently deliver essential services to its residents in the urban centers. And then also, one of the main things that we are going to dwell on in tonight's debate that qualifies a place to be a city is the infrastructural facilities like roads, street lights, adequate capacity for disaster management. Our status quo in tonight's debate is, this is according to accord.u.org. The Constitution of Uganda, Article 179, Section 7 2A of the LG Acts mandate Parliament to create cities through boundary alteration. May 20, 2019, Uganda approved creation of 15 cities across the country, which commenced in July 2020 and 2022, 2023, including Jinja, Moroto, Soroti, Hoima, Lira, Wakiso, Kabale, among others. Panel, ladies and gentlemen, it is not logical to use economic resourcefulness since almost in every place there is economic resourcefulness. But does it qualify these places to become cities? We as team negators, we are saying no. So, what do we as team negators as a standard for what do we as team negators bring as our best standard? We bring for you developed infrastructure. So we as team negators say that it's developed infrastructure that should be the standard for qualifying a place as a city. Let me borrow a leaf from South Africa. In August 2023, according to strip.org, South African cities like Johannesburg, Cape Town, Pretoria were planned based on existing infrastructures like roads, rails, utilities, and public resources. So what are these infrastructures we are talking about that should qualify a place to be a city? We are going to look at the roads in that place, the rail, the utilities, the public resources, the banks, schools, hospitals. As I said earlier, that economic resources is in almost every place, but at the quality of this economic resourcefulness, at the quality of these resources, making that place to be a city. Almost every place, let me say around lake areas, they're making the best use of their resources there. But does it qualify them to be a city? We say no. It's only the developed infrastructure in a particular area that qualifies, that should be the standard for qualifying the place to be a city. So why do we say developed infrastructure? There's foundation for growth, high quality of life, and then high level of investment. Thank you.
This is the High School Crossfire. We'll be back in a minute.